You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm my friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. You roll with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lanes. And it's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. And we don't play. Our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk college football with real fans. I'm Devin. Glad to be here tonight. Glad to see everybody in the chat. Just like every night, faithful listeners, appreciate y'all, man. Got a good show planned for y'all. My homeboy, Mello, supposed to be tuning in with us. Supposed to be popping up at the bottom of the screen at any moment during the show. We will get his thoughts. That is a bad dog. No, Tinker. She peed in her diaper. Excuse me for that. I'm trying to raise a 6-month-old dog and do a live stream at the same time. But guys, he's here. But before I pull him up, need you guys to do something for me. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. Super chats are open. I had a very interesting conversation with somebody today. That somebody is a source pretty close with the team about the plans with Brian Hartline. We know Coach Day. Everybody thinks and knows Brian Hartline's going to stick with the team. He's going to continue to be the offensive coordinator. But at what level? I think that's the question everybody's wanting to know, especially after that Indiana game. But without further ado, Mello, what's up, my dude?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Can't complain. Can't complain. Glad to be back. Miss the
Yeah.
chat, miss Buckeye Boys, miss you, brother.
Yeah, I miss you too, bro. But life pops up. You know what I'm saying? You'll be back. I
Absolutely.
got faith in that. You just happen to come on, at one of the most heartbreaking times of the season. I find it interesting you waited until after we lost the game and now you want to show up. But either way, I'm fine with it, man. We
Yeah, I
good
couldn't
though.
let you
We
have all
good,
the fun
man.
by yourself.
Yeah, for sure, bro. But yeah, man. So obviously, what we watched in Indiana isn't these normal Buckeyes, right? It's not what we expected to see. We know we could see more. And the Brian Hartline stuff coming out, that's the conversation a lot of people are talking about. Because I want to ask you, without diving into all the negativity in the game or whatnot, when you were watching that game, well, let's start here. When you first heard about the Hartline news about him leaving for USF, what what were your emotions attached to, like, him being the offensive coordinator? Like, did you have concerns that this would be a distraction or anything?
At first I thought it was a joke, to be honest with you, because I'm like, why wouldn't he take the Penn State job, right? But then when I realized it was real and it came out on National Signing Day, I'm like, who paid USF to have Brian Hartline announce that he's leaving to go take the head coaching job on National Signing Day? Then it switched. I didn't even think about Indiana. It switched straight to Chris Henry Jr. In my mind frame, right? Is like, all right, so now what's going to happen to Chris Henry? Because we knew the entire time that it was close between us and Oregon. Oregon has the Nike money. Oregon's offering shoe deals to everyone. So that's where my initial thoughts went to. I wasn't even worried about Indiana. I thought, like, from what I was hearing, like, they were ready. But obviously, from the game plan, what we saw, they were not ready. I have three big reasons why, three keys of why, and they're all fixable. So that's the good thing, right? Everything that they messed up on is fixable. Number one, the main issue, I'll go with the players first because they're the ones that have to play the games. It doesn't matter what the coach's game plan; they can't take the snaps for you. Number one is right guard. I'm sorry, we've been through this for years with Tegra. He's just not cutting it. He had a 17% pass blocking grade in the game. That's ridiculously low. Gave Sickle came in and he was the highest pass blocker on the entire offensive line. He has to start. It's time to be ruthless. It's playoff time. You have to start Gabe Van Sickle, and Tegra plays if someone's hurt, in my opinion. Second, kicking. Man, you have to make that. But I'm not with switching the kicker yet because we saw Jay Fielding miss kicks last year, right?
Yes.
And then you and Bray went to the Rose Bowl and we held our breath on the first field goal kick that he took, and he was lights out for the rest of the playoffs. So I think he'll bounce back. And the third thing is distractions. That is a huge thing. We need all the coaches to be locked in. And I'm sorry, I love Hartline. If he's not going to be locked in fully and he's going to be distracted, he has to go. I'm sorry, he can't. You only have a short amount of time in a window to to capitalize on a championship roster. And this is a team that could go back to back and maybe go back to back to back. But you're in the window right now. You have to take full advantage of it. And when you think about Tegra playing, if he couldn't, you got to think about the 3D lines that we could possibly play. Miami, they have elite defensive line. A&M, elite defensive line. UGA has a pretty solid defensive line. So you can't mess around and play him. So those are my three keys. They're all fixable. It's all able to be cleaned up. Short yardage. I heard Nevada talking about the 14 personnel and taking off JJ or Carnell Tate or Ennis or Max Clare. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. You have to lighten the box up. They'll make it easier for Bo Jackson or CJ to run. And if you're going to do a QB sneak, you might as well. It's obvious you're going to do it. Just bring Lincoln in. This is the second
Yeah.
game in a row that Saints just too small for that. Like to me, he's the best quarterback in the country, but QB sneak is not his strength.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to start this off. You already answered this question, but I want to ask the chat because there are several things we can look at with the performance on Saturday, right? Several things we can look at and call it complaining, call it whenever you want. At this point in time, when I talk about it, it's out of love for this team. But the first and most important thing I want people to realize is, chat, this goes to you. Mello, you could re-answer this question. During that performance that we keep breaking down, and yes, there are things to complain about. Yes, there are things that need to get better. But did you guys, when you watched the Buckeyes lose that game, did you see anything about that team that made you think, oh my gosh, we're not going to win a national title now? There's no way we can win a national title because of this problem or because of this problem. Was there anything you saw, Mello, that you're like, this is not fixable? Man, we don't stand a chance now.
No, everything is fixable 100%.
Yeah.
You just have to put in the work and fix it, right?
Yeah, and that's the way I feel. I mean, I feel about this when you go back and look at it, when you hear us Buckeye fans talk about it, even when I hear myself break down this game, and I'm sure you're the same way with this, you would have think that we lost by 21 points. And the crazy thing about it is that we lost by 3, and we could have so easily won. 27-yard chip shot. We're down in the end zone twice. 150 yards of offense. What's Gabe Van Sickle came in, sliced through their defense like butter, got down in the red zone, and just acted like we hadn't played football all year, right? So, but I totally agree with everything that you said. I mean, I've made it very clear on here. I mean, Tegra, I wish I could get that. That's been my number one question all year to all my insiders that I talk to is, what's up with this Tegra thing? Does he ball out in practice? Does he kill it in practice and everybody else sucks? And what's the deal there? Could never get an answer. Same thing with Jaden Fielding, except for Jaden Fielding just keeps winning all these battles in practice. He is beating out Jackson Corvell in practice. But at some point in time, you know how you say practice isn't like game reps. Normally that goes the opposite of the way we're talking about it now. But in this rep, right, in a kicker, yeah, it's easy to kill it in practice. It's easy to kill it in practice, right? But when you get out here to games like this, it's hard. And then, yeah, the red zone, right? The game plan, I felt like this coaching staff, I felt like I was watching a game plan of our 3-game stretch before Michigan, right? Do you remember that 3-game stretch where it felt like it was a scrimmage? That's what I felt like this game plan was, like legit. I felt like this coaching staff thought we were going to come out there and just absolutely roll through Indiana. And do I believe, right, that we can, and that if we meet them again, that we will? Yes, I will. The crazy thing about it is that I had 34-17 confidence before this game. That didn't happen. But watching this game, if I'm just being completely honest with everybody, I'm sure everybody's going to say, this dude's got scarlet glasses on. This dude don't know what. If we go to play them again, I will have a similar score prediction, and I will be very confident about it again, because I just believe that if this team plays at the level, people want to talk about Indiana didn't play a good game. They didn't, they missed a field goal. They threw an interception. They did all those things. Not quite like the Buckeyes did. Indiana didn't even make it down in the red zone. The Buckeyes made it clear down in the red zone and didn't score
Yep.
twice. That's the game right there. There is no argument the other way when you don't make it down in the red zone like that. But all in all, this thing is not over. We got the players to do it on the offensive line. Gabe Van Sickle came in. Kicking, as far as I'm concerned, we can go through the whole playoffs and never attempt a field goal. Just go for it every time. You got Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Max Clear. You got a list of people here. I ultimately, and I promise you I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and you can call this coping. Part of it probably is coping, right? Because I want to feel good about my team. But still, I don't like that this happened, but I'm definitely not down bad that it happened. I ultimately think this is going to be a good thing for this team. I really do.
Absolutely.
Talking to a couple players in the locker room, I'm gonna tell you right now, dude, they are turnt, bro. They're turnt. They are pissed. They are not happy with the outcome of that game. And if anybody out there, Mello, I know you played sports, you know what that's like,
Yep.
especially when you lose a game that you shouldn't have lost. It's a little bit different when you go play your best game and you still lose. You don't
Right.
get so fired up after that one. But when you go play a game the way the Buckeyes played, and you know darn well you can play a million times better, that's a different kind of energy after that game. That's a, hey, I'm Matt. Let's go to the weight room.
Yep, absolutely. And I love to hear it, man. I know they're going to be fired up. I know Ryan Day is the greatest coach in college football right now for a reason. I know he's going to fix it. He's going to take a hold of this. He's going to get the great grab the reign. And hopefully what Nevada was saying yesterday about him convincing Chip Kelly to come right along for this back-to-back run will come to fruition, right? And then we won't have to worry about this distraction. Hartline could stay. Hartline could get the credit and ride off in the sunset with a back-to-back natty, and all the Buckeye Nation will be happy.
Yeah, no doubt. Before I get into this next topic, Mello, how long do you have? I don't want to keep you here. I know you said you're.
I got about like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So if you want to go to the topic, I'll hop off. I could come back
Well,
tomorrow. We'll
no,
schedule something else.
I'll ask you this question. I'll hear your
Yeah,
answer, and then we'll go on, right? Because now the question is, right? Hey, with this Brian Hartline stuff, him going to USF, he's there right now. They got a bowl
right.
game. He's got to get a whole coaching staff together, all these things. And Ryan Day gets up in front of a mic and says, no, hey, Brian Hartline's still going to be the offensive coordinator here. People want to know what that's going to look like. People want to know, hey, who's going to be calling the plays in the playoff? Is it going to be Brian Hartline? Is Ryan Day really going to continue to let Coach Brian Hartline call the plays, even though he's not the coach here anymore? And he's not even here right now. He's not breaking down film. He's not with the team. He's not doing any of that stuff. What do you think, man? Do you
I'm
think
gonna,
that what?
I'm gonna be straight up honest. I love Hart. I love what he's done for Ohio State. He is absolutely hands down the greatest recruiter probably in the history of football and college football. But I don't want him calling plays. I'm gonna just be honest. I think he's gonna have too much on his plate, too much of a distraction. These people are human. These coaches are human. So there's the human element. We just think like, oh, you should just be professional all the time. But they're human just like us. We sometimes we have good days at the office. Sometimes we're distracted for a week or two. But imagine being a head coach at a team that went 9-3, that Coach went to Auburn, I believe, and is trying to pluck your roster. Other people are trying to pluck your roster. You're trying to retain your roster. You still have to recruit. You still have to put the coaching staff together, like you said. And they're going to want you to be at least minimum 9-3 your first year, if not 10-2. So, like, how hardcore can he dive into being an OC? And we're not going to be playing scrubs, honestly. Whether it's Miami, A&M, or UGA, we're going to have to bring it. Like, there's not, you got to have the pedal to the metal. So I either want, hopefully, ideally, we get Chip in because he already knows the team, he knows the scheme, he's familiar with a lot of the players, or Ryan Day just takes over the reins himself and just goes to angry Ryan Day, Peach Bowl 2022 Ryan Day before the last drive of the game.
Yeah. All right, Mello. Well, I'll let you get off
All right,
here.
family.
I'm going to dive into my thoughts on that exact topic there. But, brother, I'll catch you next time. We'll get you back on
All
here.
right, shout out to the BBZ family and Scoop family. I appreciate y'all. Hey, kick me out so that way I don't end the live stream.
All right, brother. I got you. Well, I sent
All
you
right.
the link. You can't end it. So just exit out. You're good.
All right, bet.
All right, peace. All right, boom. There we go. All right. So, on that topic right there, I want to start off by saying, hey, this has always been a question, right? There's been debate all season long. Some people feel that Ryan Day called plays in the Indiana game. Some people feel Brian Hartline called plays. Some people feel like, in the big games, Ryan Day got involved and started calling plays. And here's what I think. You're going to hear a lot of people saying this, but I think, like, to get the true answer to this question, I think, right, you would have to talk to Brian Hartline or Ryan Day, and you would have to actually feel like they're going to give you an honest answer. But with that being said, there are people close to the team. They hear conversations. They see the dynamic. They see what's going on. So I'll give you guys the conversation that I had today. It's one of the questions that I had because, man, again, I love Coach Hartline, but I'm just not buying that Ryan Day is going to put all his eggs in Brian Hartline's basket right now because I don't think that would be fair to do, to be honest with you. I mean, both ways you look at it. I don't think it's fair to act like Brian Hartline can handle being a first-time head coach ever while still putting in the time, resources, and thoughts necessary to game plan for this playoff run. Like, that's just the fact. This isn't about whether you like Brian Hartline or not. It's not about whether you think he's a good offensive coordinator or not. The truth is that Ryan Day got up. Everybody wanted to know, is Brian Hartline going to stick around even before the Indiana game? And he said, yes, he's sticking around, right? And we saw the result of that. I truly believe that part of, I don't know what part, 10%, 5%, 1%, 50%, part of the reason that we lost that game was because of that. That's just human nature. That was a huge distraction. There's no way. I'm sure Brian Hartline gave it 100%, but it's like before, right? He could give it 100%, but there's no way for Brian to give 100% of his effort towards a game plan because he's a head coach somewhere else. Even if he wants to, it's not possible. It's humanly not possible for him to, devote 100% of his effort and his time, right, to be the offensive coordinator here at Ohio State. Why? Because he's been hired and paid by another school to be the head coach there. So it's impossible. He cannot do it, right? But I think when reporters ask Brian Day this, what else is he going to say? I mean, what's he going to say to him? Brian Hartline wants to stick around for the playoffs because he's loyal to this team, because, he was here with the players. He wants to finish this run out. I respect that. But I think a lot of people are just assuming, they're kind of getting a little bit mad at Brian Hartline for sticking around. But the truth is, it's like, hey, it's okay for him to stick around as long as he's not the one calling plays. As long as he's not the one responsible for the game plan, I'm perfectly fine with Brian Hartline sticking around and talking to these coaches, talking to these players, talking to these wide receivers. He's built relationships with them and all that. But if the truth is that Coach Day is going to turn all the play calling and the game planning solely over to Coach Hartline, that would make me furious. I would not like that. So that's what I inquired about today. And reaching out to one person, they said that's not the case. That's not going to happen. Ryan Day can get up in front of a mic all he wants and say that that's the case. But the truth is, I think we can all agree, Coach Day knows this as well. It'd be impossible for Hart to put in the time and the effort needed, right, for this game plan, for the play calling, right? So where do you go from here? What do you do? Well, a lot of the other staff has been involved in the game planning all year long, right? The offensive coordinator on game day is the one picking from the plays that all the coaching staff designed together. And during the regular season, Coach Day, a lot of other things going on. He needs to keep his eyes on a lot of other things. So it does help to have that person that's doing that job. It is time to nut up or shut up season. It is the postseason. I believe last year, Ryan Day, during the postseason, got way more involved with the game planning and game day play calling than he normally is. That's happening again this year. That is happening. Will it come out? Will Ohio State talk about this? Will it come out anywhere? No, I do not expect it to. But I was told Coach Day is aware of this situation. You know, they're still trying to figure out the kinks, but Coach Day is going to be the one with the final decision about what plays are about to be being called. Now, is that going to look like him with the play sheet on the sideline calling every single play? I don't know. I think that's something that's still being sorted out, but it does bring me some relief to hear that, you know, Coach Day is aware of the time constraints that Brian Hartline has with the new responsibility that he has, and he's aware, and he will be taking over way bigger part of the game planning and play calling than he already was previously doing. So that's a huge relief to me. That also takes a little bit off of me with the little bit of aggravation that I had in this Brian Hartline situation. Because again, if Brian Hartline was the wide receivers coach and got hired by USF for being the wide receivers coach, would you guys be frustrated if he was going to hang around as the wide receivers coach for the Buckeyes? No. I wouldn't be. I mean, because it's just like, really, what does the wide receiver coach do on game day? He talks to the guys on the sideline, subs them in and out as needed, does things like that. But what does the offensive coordinator do on game day, right? What the offensive coordinator does on game day requires a week of preparation, diligence, and focus solely on that for a week prior to the game, or even longer than that. I don't know how long it takes these guys to prep and plan for these things, but they're Brian Hartline is capable of doing. Have you guys seen all the videos coming out? Like, he is fully in his position now, fully in it, bro. Getting up in front of the team, doing interviews with everybody, trying to figure out all the issues that he has to get resolved. Do you guys seriously think that Coach Day doesn't know what it takes to be a first-time play caller and get all these things gathered up? Coach Day's done it before. He knows what it requires. Therefore, he knows Brian Hartline is not going to be able to handle the same responsibilities that he was handling during the regular season. That's known. Coach Day knows that. He will be dispersing some of his responsibilities, but most of it will fall on Coach Day. And I love that, man. Gives me a little bit of relief there. But we'll see. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not, because I don't believe it did, for the Indiana game. Again, a lot of distractions there, a lot of things you can dive into, but it is what it is. Talking about a recent list came out that had 5 of these Buckeyes on it to go in the first round. And when you look at these Buckeyes that we have this year, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caden McDonald, Tate, and and Caleb Downs, right? When you look at these guys, when you look at Arvell Reese is the one I want to talk about. Do you guys feel that Arvell Reese has been being utilized correctly the second half of this season? It's a question. I'm just curious because I hear a lot of people talking about that because he kind of blew up on the scene right at the beginning of the season, was getting all these sacks, was doing all these things. And I feel like the last 3 or 4 games, even the Michigan game, you don't really hear his name called that much. You don't hear it. In my opinion of that is that, right, he allows other players on this defense to do things, right? He's kind of used as a decoy in a way. But then the other part of that is this dude's being talked about as possibly the first dude to be taken off of a draft board, right? He's got absolute freak physical attributes. And that is a question I would have is, do we think we're utilizing him properly? And listen, that's going to make some people feel some type of way because it's getting super nitpicky at this point because this defense has been phenomenal all year long. The defense was phenomenal in the Indiana game, not the reason that we lost that game whatsoever. But it is a question that I have. It is a question that, hey, with as good as this defense is, can it be better? When you got players like Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs, can we utilize them in different ways? Can we, right, send Reese on pressures more? And Gio, yeah, I hear you. Offenses are scheming away from him for sure. Simply just a talking point. Just curious your guys' thoughts on the matter. Do you believe the coaching staff is using Arvell Reese correctly? Do you believe they could use him more? It is a question that has been circulating around. A lot of people were talking about it. I wanted to get y'all's opinion on it. My opinion on it is that I trust Coach Matt Patricia with whatever he is doing because I haven't seen a performance from this defense yet that has made me believe this isn't a national title contending defense. I believe this is one of the main reasons why I think we can go win a national title because of this defense. And yes, that includes the Indiana performance, man. Doodah, thanks for the $10. Deb, do you think we have a shot at Chaz Coleman or anybody else? Well, we know things can change extremely quickly in the recruiting world, right? That also translates over into the transfer portal world. Things can change so fast there. For instance, I can talk to a parent one day, or I can talk to a parent at 5 o'clock. That parent can tell me, hey, we're Buckeyes through and through. That's not changing. By 6 o'clock, that can change. Does that mean that parent lied to me in that moment? No, it does not. It doesn't. It means something changed. It means that between 5 and 6, a team called and offered a lot more money, right? With that being said, what is it? 3 weeks ago, Chaz Coleman to the Buckeyes was looking very, very good. And as of now, it is still looking very, very good. But Penn State just hired a pretty darn good coach. So now we will see, I think, 5 days after the coach gets there, these players can enter the portal. So, I don't know when that timeline starts or where it ends, but there's some Penn State players, right? I don't know exactly how that rule works, but either way, we'll see, man. We will see with this coaching change. We'll see what they do. I would guess they're going to spend quite a bit of money to try to keep Mr. Chaz Coleman there. He was one of the more upsetting ones to lose in last year's class, a late riser coming in and played pretty darn good this year. Defensive end from Ohio. Went to Penn State, but we'll see. I know the Buckeyes are being pretty ruthless in this transfer portal. They don't have a choice. The NCAA has backed them in a corner where they don't have an option but to start right now. They don't have an option but to play that game of that gray area of tampering or not tampering, right? Of reaching out to secondary sources and people that know these players, and hey, we're not violating if we're not reaching out to the player directly, but if we reach out to their coach, we're still in the clear. The Buckeyes are playing that game, man, because like I said, transfer portal opens January 2nd, closes January 16th. The Natty is January 19th. The Buckeyes will be in that game. They will be playing in the Natty, trying to get ready for that game while some of their players are leaving, and they got to rush around and figure out what players they need to go get. Also, on top of that, after the national title game, teams around the country can poach their rosters for 5 days. Whatever two teams are playing in the national title, their portal is open for 5 days after the national title. But all the other teams' portal is closed, meaning the two teams in the national title cannot go refill their rosters from the players that left during those 5 days. It is such a messed up thing. That's why, believe it or not, right now, this week, going into next week, is a super critical part of this program. It's not going to be talked about. It's not going to be reported on enough. But inside the Woody right now, there are extremely critical conversations going on, because now more than ever, these players need to be honest with the coaching staff, and the coaching staff needs to be honest with the players. Because what would be awful? What would be awful is a player entering the transfer portal on this roster that you did not expect to enter the transfer portal. So the coaches right now, as we speak, are putting a lot more effort into having those conversations with players on this roster to determine where they're at, where's their headspace at. They're trying to work all those details out right now, because when they get into this playoff run, they're not going to have a lot of time to sit back, have these conversations, work out money things, do all these things. They're going to be playing in the playoffs. So right now is when these conversations are happening, going on for the next 7 days or so. They're sitting down, finding out the headspace of these players, making the offers to them of, hey, this is what we have for you next year. Is this going to work for you? Is it not going to work for you? This is what's going on. So super critical stuff going on inside the Woody right now, as well as trying to prepare for this game. But guys, listen, it's weird because like I want to keep diving into this Indiana game. I want to keep talking about it, but I think I've said all I need to say at this point. The only thing I'm focused on now is that, and I'm sure I'll have other guests on that want to talk about it, and I'll share from there. But ultimately it happened, man, right? A couple days have gone by now. It was super hurtful at first, but it's not the end of the road whatsoever. And I know it sounds wild, but the loss just that day, did it kill me? It absolutely did. It hurt bad. The next day it hurt too. But I'm not stressed anymore, guys. I'm really not. I mean, it wasn't, it wasn't to where the performance made me feel like I've lost hope in this team. It didn't happen. I almost got there last year for the Michigan game. Like, that performance is a performance that'll make you feel, holy crap, bro. But, this did feel awful familiar to that game, but not in that sense, right? Because like me and Mello talked about, all these things are easily fixable, man. They are. Most of it is on the coaches. And if you understand what Ryan Day and this coaching staff were going through during that time, it kind of makes sense. It makes sense that the game was on the coaches. Does that make it okay? Does it make it right? No, it doesn't. But when you got Hartline leaving, when you got other teams coming in, obviously there's a lot more coaches that we don't know about getting inquiries about other jobs. I mean, Marcus Johnson left to Arkansas. That wasn't out of the blue. I'm sure they were dealing with that during that time as well. And there are other coaches on the roster that are having these conversations. So no, it's not these other coaches' faults that this was going on, but it was happening. Now, it is Hartline's fault for leaking it on the day that he leaked it, but it would have got leaked eventually. But that day was just horrible. But That's what I'm saying. There was a lot of distractions going on. So it kind of makes sense. But we got 3 weeks before this next game. The distraction thing ain't going to happen. Yes, Steele, this is a big one too. People aren't talking about the Michigan hangover. With the way the players played in that Michigan game, I'm sure they weren't feeling too well. Indiana had a bye week when they played Purdue, and they also had a bye week. So they were pretty well rested. Let me make it clear. Not taking anything away from Indiana. They won that game. But I'll also make it clear. If the Buckeyes play their best game and Indiana plays their best game, the Buckeyes win by 21 freaking points. Clip it, post it, TikTok it, Instagram it, Twitter it, whatever you want to do. That's a fact. Indiana fans, I know you know that in your heart. I know you do, right? Killer team, hell of a team. But you beat us by 3. We missed a field goal. We scored 0 points on 2 drives, 150 yards of offense. Was not a focused Buckeye team whatsoever. It was the worst game we played all year. Let me ask you, chat. Just ask you guys your opinion. Was that the worst game you've watched the Buckeyes play all year long? And I'm not talking about just getting beat. Indiana beat us in many facets of the game. Their defensive line completely beat our offensive line. They beat us. They won that battle. But besides from that, did the Buckeyes execute at their assignments? I mean, just in missed assignments. They missed assignments. That's not, I mean, Tegra completely blew assignments. That's not because the defensive line did something crazy. He just missed an assignment. Didn't do it right. The worst game that we watched these Buckeyes play all year, and we lose by 3 points, and we missed a field goal. So, am I still a little cocky? Yeah, I am. Do I still believe that when we see these Indiana Hoosiers in the playoffs again, that you guys are so screwed it's not even funny? Yes, I believe that in my heart. Yes, you are going to have to prove me wrong again. You're going to have to do it. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. Much respect to you guys. I love that you root for your team the way you do. Most of you. Some of you I don't. You sound like fools. You act like fools. But credit to Indiana. You won the game. But when we see y'all again in these playoffs, if we do, you're getting your ass kicked, man. It's just a fact. It's written in the history books already. So thank you for what you did. And thank you to that wide receiver that had the most receiving yards on Indiana for saying F Ohio State and flipping us off. We love that. We love that. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys, man. You helped us out for next year too. You put Julian saying through something that he ain't went through all year. What you did is you build up some grit, you build up some toughness, and that needed to happen with these Buckeyes. Clearly, it needed to happen. I'm not one that believes you have to lose a game to win these lessons, but the lessons that they learned, it takes, if you never lose, it takes 2 years to learn the lessons. There are some lessons in life that can only be taught and that can only be learned through losing. Trust me, I know. You know how many times I've tried to change something in my life because somebody told me, hey, Devin, you better change this or this is going to happen. You better change this or this is going to happen. Well, I never changed it until this happened. Until it happened. Once it happened, sometimes it had to happen more than once. Sometimes Tegra had to miss a block more than once before we realized the change needed to happen. Sometimes the kicker's got to miss a field goal more than once before we make a change. You know, so, man, failing is the best teacher I've ever had in my life, by far. So, and I think we got a head coach that's really good at utilizing and bringing failure along to be the best motivator and the best teacher in the room. We got a pretty good example of what happened last year. If you don't think that team was operating off of what they learned from their failures, you know, you need to read the Brotherhood book. I'm reading it, and I'll tell you right now, failure is what drive that natty last year, and failure is what's about to drive, right, another national title run. I do not expect, if the Buckeyes go into this playoff and if they lose a game, we're not going to have this same feeling again of watching a piss poor performance from the offensive line, of not throwing any fade balls to JJ in the end zone, of taking JJ and Carnell out, not throwing passes to Bennett Christian. We're not going to lose a game like that again. If we lose a game in these playoffs, it's just because another team played an amazing game and we played a good game, right? We did not play a good game. We played a really crappy game, but we shall see. I'm excited. I'm headed to the Cotton Bowl. I'm so stoked about it. It's so far away. I wish it would be here faster, but we got a long way to go, man. Stay tuned, guys. Got some more shows coming up. Gonna try to get a lot more people on here. Might have a couple fan shows coming up. So if you're interested in coming on, let me know. Shoot me an email. I'll put the link in the chat anyway during those shows, but probably going to get some 27 recruits on here, have some conversations. There is going to be some intel coming out about some portal moves coming up. January 2nd is when the portal opens. But like I said, there's conversations that are happening now. So I expect some news to start coming out about some players that are probably going to be hitting the portal when they do, like mutual agreements between staff and the players, and possibly some other ones. And inquiries are being made as well about what players these Buckeyes are going to bring in. I got several calls out, several text messages out. So the first inkling I get that the Buckeyes are in on a target that's playing for another team, you guys are going to know about it. Get on over to the Scoop message board. That's where it's going to be posted first. I mean, the Scoop message board staff, when it comes to the Buckeyes, if the Buckeyes are in or inquiring about a player that's on another team, I promise you the first place it's going to be posted is the Buckeye Scoop message board. Out of all the boards, that's where it's going to be first. That's just what we do over there, man. That's what we got. Amazing Nevada, helping technician, the Oracle, Funky, B Moses, all of us over there, man. So go over there, check that out. If you are listening to us on Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, whatever you call it, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. But hey, guys, appreciate you guys for your support. Go hit the subscribe button on my Buckeye Boys channel. If you're watching on Scoop, take 2 seconds after the show, type in Buckeye Boys with a Z in the search bar, hit subscribe and like on this video over there on that channel as well. I know it's a little different, but that would be awesome. Share this video on your X accounts, your Facebook, your Instagram, all those things. That helps us out a lot too. And I still owe you guys some trivia questions. It's going to happen. I promise it's going to happen. I will hold my word to that. So I appreciate you guys for watching tonight. Appreciate the support. If you guys got some show ideas, right, some things that we got a pretty long break before the next game. So if you got some ideas, some things you want to hear about, please email me at thebuckeyeboys with 3 Z's at gmail.com. The Buckeye Boys with 3 Z's at gmail.com. I'll see if I can make it happen, man. I'm always up for new ideas, new show ideas as well. So appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate the support. Love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.